Hey, what's up, YouTube? Hey, let's just sit down and talk. Let's just have a chat. Because currently, right now, I'm in a Goodyear shop in Georgetown, Kentucky. Let me roll the intro and I'll tell you what's going on. So yesterday I picked up this load. It's fairly heavy. It's like 40,000. So I'm like 70,000 total, which isn't light, but it's not super heavy either. But during my pre-trip with this trailer, I noticed the rear axle, both inside tires were kind of were low. So they have the auto inflation system on them. So what I did is I ran the truck, hooked them up, and went back and double checked them, and they seemed like they were good. But by the time I drove my 25 miles to where my park stopped last night, and I had to get scaled as well, so I knew I was coming here. I checked them again on my post trip, and they were just both down again. So I was debating whether I should try to make it to an OC in Indianapolis today and have them address the issue. Because, like I said, when the truck's running, it seemed like they was holding up a little bit. But when I parked, I realized I'm in a pilot here in Georgetown, and after I parked, I looked to my left and I noticed they had a shop here, but I didn't realize what it was when I pulled in. But it happens to be a Goodyear, one of our tire places. So I'm in here now. So instead of risking it with a semi-heavy load all the way for like 200 miles to get to Indianapolis, I'm gonna go ahead and get the issue addressed now. So upon further inspection, they told me that the brakes need to be reworked on this trailer as well. So when I looked at the brakes just to do the pre-trip, I noticed a little bit of, it was kind of iffy on my end. I was like, let me just take it to an OC. This was like the initial thoughts on pre-trip. It's like I can go to Indianapolis, have them do it. But since the tires didn't really correct themselves and they had to be issued anyway, they're going and doing it all here now, the brake job and the tire situation. So I'm sitting here. I've been in the shop now for a couple hours, but I've been thinking. I mean, I mentioned I'm going to the owner-operator, independent contractor route, soon-ish. But I want to talk about my mindset of why I made the decision to do this for me. And I don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm still about 90% sure I'm going to go through SFI. I'm going to stick with Schneider and go through there. But at the same time, again, you've heard me say it before, I'd be a fool not to talk to other opportunities and learn about those. And let's talk about number one reason why. Why am I feel like I want to switch from company driver to owner-op or IC? One is I want to pick my own loads. Why do I want to pick my own loads? Because one, I feel like I can run myself more efficiently and get more miles, make more money if I run myself. And two, I can stick to the parts of the country that I like to run, and that's really seasonal. Now we're going into winter and all that, so I want to try to stay in the areas that I like to run, even when it's not winter. I just like running the southern part of the country, I-10 and below, pretty much Texas to Florida, all that there. Now don't get me wrong, just because that's my preferred routes doesn't mean I'm going to stick on those routes, because I got to make money. But I will say, I recently saw a couple people that I follow on YouTube, and I have talked to this company before, but from a company driver standpoint. But now I talk to them as a lease operator standpoint. You know, mentalities are different depending on the role, right? So, Hirschbach. I called Hirschbach and I got in contact with Hirschbach, talked to them. They've got, there's some really good information, really good options through Hirschbach. One, your fuel is always going to be 99 cents a mile. No matter where you fill up, no matter what the pump price is, you as the driver are only paying 99 cents A gallon, not mile. A gallon. That's all you're paying for fuel. Number two, there's no escrow. Your truck is covered bumper to bumper, ground to roof. You get a blowout, any maintenance, all that stuff is covered by Hirschbach. They pay for everything. The rates vary depending on the length, but the least you're going to make as a lease operator through Hirschbach is $1 a mile. The lower the rate, or the lower the trip, the higher the mileage rate. The longer the trip, the lower the mileage rate. But the least you're going to make as an owner-op is $1 a mile. Now that sounds good, but if you do let's say you do 1,800 mile, you grab an 1,800 mile load. You're only getting like $1 a mile, $1.06 a mile. The thing is, your payments still come. The weekly payments that come out through Hirschbach are similar to what an SFI through Schneider thing would be. They're pretty close, but your mileage rates go way down with Hirschbach. So your expenses total, well, you are saving on fuel. That's a big saving. But the average gross take home, she was telling me, there's been weeks that I've made that as a company driver. She said their average take home was like $1,600 to $2,000 a week gross. I've had $1,700 weeks out here as a company driver. Another downside, the biggest another reason why I want to go, I've already said, I want to dispatch myself. The downside with Hirschbach is they are pre-planned trips and they stack them on you. That's what she said, pre-planned and they're stacked. Which defeats the purpose of going owner-op, right? The fuel savings, the no escrow, and they're not new trucks. They're used. I mean, you might randomly get a brand new one, but that's not the way it works there. Again, I'm still leaning heavily, 90+% sure I'm going to stick with Schneider and go through SFI, but I'm also looking at options. I'm looking at different areas. Lone Mountain for a truck. I may just go out and get a truck from them. That way I don't have to worry about a weekly payment on the truck, do a monthly payment. I mean, not necessarily Lone Mountain, but other companies as well. I may just get my own truck for my own financing, and if that's an option, honestly, it's going to depend on down payment and other things. So, I will work harder pushing myself. I just know that because I was even though it was a taxi, I was still an independent contractor for 24 years. And when you're an independent contractor, owner-op, you make as much as you put into it. Granted, you will have those weeks to where you're just sick or blah, you're ready for a time off or whatever, but you're out here to work. And that's what my goal is. I got a 6-year plan from the day I start the owner-op. And I'm really leaning towards, because I have a couple of things that are going to be coming in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And with those financial boosts, I might even have it by the end of the year. Which would be great, because I'm ready for my truck. I'm ready to get my own truck. I want my own truck. I want to start riding myself. But I also know, being that aggressive, my cushion, safety net, if you will, won't be as high as I intended it to be. So I can have those. There's going to be a couple weeks of learning curve before money starts coming in for real. And during that, plus I'm gonna have to spend money for renting a car to once I drop this truck off at my depot in Columbus. I'm going to rent a vehicle to drive it to wherever I get my truck, which I'd really like to do it in Green Bay just because where it all started. I think it'd be cool to have the instructors up there who was with me from day one, watch me transition into owner-op. I think that'd be cool for them and for me. And then shoot my ass back down south where out of the winter. I don't know. My window looks really good, but again, it's just that cushion. I could do it by the end of the year, and the more I think about it, the more I want to. But I still need a cushion because I got to spend money for travel expenses. I'm gonna spend money for once I'm officially in orientation, Schneider takes care of the room. I think it's a 3-day orientation. But anything outside of that, I'm gonna have to. I need to have money to cover it. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Or do you know of any companies of lease operators? Or the biggest thing for me too is I can't make $100,000 a year plus as a company driver with here at Schneider. I just can't. I really enjoy the company. I really like Schneider. I like being with them. It's just a good company to work for. And my experiences has been great with them. And I have a sense of loyalty to them because they've shown loyalty to me a couple of times. And which just intensifies my commitment to them as well. But in order for my plan to come through, I've got to make some bank over the next 6 years. I don't know. What are your thoughts? You know of any other companies that maybe I don't even know about? Of opportunities, owner-op, or even a company driver that can make $150,000 a year. I don't know. And what the requirements, of course. I don't know. Just give me your thoughts. This is my whole reasoning for going that route. And yeah. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully they'll have this. Right now it's 10:04 in the a.m. on Wednesday. I'm supposed to have this load delivered today up in DeKalb, Illinois, which is 407 miles, 400 miles from where I'm at. 410 miles from where I'm at. Took me about 8 hours to do it. So if they get this shit done now, if I left now, I'd be there at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. Central Time. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Just talking about my feelings and my thoughts and what's going on in my brain and why and what I'm doing with trucking. So I appreciate any feedback and any advice or tips that you may have. And thanks for watching, y'all. Y'all have yourselves a great day.